Local Women Magazine presents Local Women Podcast, the show for things that matter. Keeping an Eye on It podcast from Local Women Magazine is brought to you by Cathedral Eye Clinic, Northern Ireland's leading eye specialist.
Hello and welcome to the Keeping an Eye on It podcast, sponsored by Cathedral Eye Clinic. And cheers! Yes, I know the sun is barely up over that yard arm, but we came into the podcast room and there'd been another podcast on before us, and it was a wine podcast, and they'd left some bottles. So we thought, why not? Because we don't like to see waste, girls, do we?
No, we don't.
We don't like to see any kind of waste. So we thought that even though it's only like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we thought we would have a medicinal red wine. So thank you very much to United Wines for the medicinal red wine. Cheers.
Yes, skull.
Now, skull. Okay, so this is a podcast where I bring together 3 fabulous ladies that I have collected along the way. These are some of the most fabulous ladies in Northern Ireland, as you've already seen. So this week, honestly, I think this is the best one yet. Honestly, this is great. Okay, over here, I've got Jane Hardy, aka the theatre baddie. Now, Jane has earned her quite a bit of a reputation recently, Jane, for your theatre reviews. Now, Jane is a journalist, a writer. She interviewed Margaret Thatcher, blah, blah, blah. We all know that. But recently, you've been getting a bit of flack, Jane.
I have been getting flack, yes, because I tell it how it is.
She does.
I think that Robin and Jane in the stalls, I think we're becoming the butchers of Belfast, not the butchers of Broadway.
They are.
But in honesty, we do tell it how it is. And if you don't give your honest opinion, there's no point in doing a review, is there? That's my view.
Exactly, Jane. So if you're thinking of starting in Dram, watch out. That's all I can say. But she is very fair. She's very, very fair. Now, next to Jane, I have the absolutely fabulous and sensational, it's Patience Bradley. Look at this woman. Isn't she an absolute doll? Now, Patience is an author, a dog breeder, and you were a model. You can tell by looking at you, you're a model. Look at you, you're absolutely stunning. Patience is a girl about town and just a wonderful person. So Patience, hello.
Hello, how are you?
And is that the proper welcome? Is there anything else you do that I don't know about?
I do a little bit of everything.
Tell us about modelling. Tell us about your modelling.
Well, my modelling career was really ridiculous because my mother had sent me to a sort of modelling agency. She had 12-week modelling course, and after 6 weeks, she told my mother she really didn't think that I would be making it at all. So I was a bit upset at that, and everything in my life has been totally fated. Absolutely. I mean, from beginning to end, really. And a photograph of mine was seen. I mean, just an ordinary photograph. And then I just went from that to the top.
I love it. I love that. And I love how she says that, and I just went to the top. And at the top, she has stayed. Now, over here, I have the absolutely gorgeous Louise Vance, also known as Lulu. Now, you might know her from social media. She is the lady with the big high ponytail who wears all the gorgeous clothes. And she struts around Belfast. She gets asked to everything. She's kind of like a Belfast it girl. But she's also a solicitor. She's bright too. And she's also a very good friend and a very nice person.
Oh, thank you so much, Kim. And listen, thank you so much for having me here today. I've been really looking forward to having some, fun, honest, good crack, good chats. And do you know what? I think something like this is a great opportunity for people to kind of get to know all of us a bit better as well.
And have your say.
Multifaceted side. Yeah.
Well, so they don't just look at you and go, there's that girl with the nice clothes. And honestly, her clothes are amazing. Please go onto her site. Her clothes are stunning. But anyway, cheers. Let's get started.
Yes, cheers.
Keeping an Eye on It podcast from Local Women Magazine is brought to you by Cathedral Eye Clinic, Northern Ireland's leading eye specialist.
Okay, so somebody I forgot to say hi to when I was saying my intros there is, of course, the dog, the little chihuahua that is running around onto the table. Sorry, it's not a chihuahua. She's shaking her head. It is not a chihuahua. It is Princess Mary. It's a dog. What kind of dog is it?
A charter feather.
It's that, okay? It's that.
Yes.
And it's absolutely adorable. And she's kind of running around. She belongs to Patience, and she's a wee pet, isn't she? Anyway, one thing that I wanted to talk to you ladies about, and it's been kind of bugging me recently, you know, because I'm coming into middle age. Okay, I am middle-aged. And you ladies are a little bit older than me.
Certainly.
Do you find that everything is aimed at younger people, like advertising, clothing, everything?
No, I don't think advertising is actually. I think if you look at commercials now, they very cleverly tailor them to the program you're watching. So,
Yes.
there'll be, this isn't good for me because I might be watching A Midsummer Murders and it's all stair lifts and, helpful.
Lady Tenner.
Yes, and additions to the bath so that you can get in and out. And you think, no, I'm not quite there yet, thanks very much.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think a lot of stuff is aimed at youth, yes, and a lot of social media obviously is geared towards youth. But youth's stuff will not endure, and we're all going in one direction. It's quite funny. I don't think you do actually become invisible as you get older. I remember my late mama. She was widowed quite early in her 50s, which was tragic. It was awful. And after she came through a period of the most intense grief, she started writing poetry. She wrote plays, had plays put on. She gained another whole life for herself for the next several decades, actually, which was amazing. So she came into her own in some ways.
Yes. Now, Patience, you were a model and you're still absolutely stunning. How did you find the ageing process? Did you find it depressing?
No, I have to say the complete opposite.
Good. This is cheering me up.
I adore being the age I am now.
Do you mind me asking how old you are? Roughly. Give us like within a 10-year span.
60s.
Love it.
60s. But I love being older. I think to be older, you get so many good points with you. I mean, we all say we don't care what people think, but we do. When we're younger, we do.
Yeah.
And some people can be quite hurtful, things they say. But I think, over 60s, 70s, 80s, I mean, it's all about what's there for you. Because you are, as Jane was saying, you're in the last chapter, shall we say, of
The
your
finale.
And a finale is wonderful, isn't it?
The finale is the best bit of any musical.
Yes, it is.
And I do think, you really become you. And therefore, friends...
I love that. You become you.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes.
After years of hiding.
Yes. And I think that you realise that if people like you or they don't like you... I mean, some people dislike you for no reason.
Yeah. And that's okay.
That's all right. There's nothing you can do about it.
But I think you can, at this age, really be kind and generous to people.
Yeah.
And that's something that I find delightful that I can do now, and give encouragement. I just think it's a lovely age to be. Now, in saying that, as sort of Jane was saying as well, to go into the next stage, I don't know. None of us do.
Yes, whenever you've still got your health, it's fine.
Exactly.
Louise, how do you feel about getting? No, you're young. You're only in your 40s, aren't you? You're a young thing. How do you feel about the aging process? Are you going to fight it the whole way?
Do you know what? I'm going to say this, as somebody that is now in their mid-40s now. I've actually really enjoyed the aging process. I feel like at my age, at this point in my life, I'm at my most liberated. I feel most free.
Brilliant.
At your peak.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, even in terms of the clothes and the fashion that I'm wearing, it's not as if I'm going, oh, geez, I'm in my 40s now. Maybe I shouldn't be wearing a mini skirt or maybe I should be covering up a little bit more. I actually, if anything, I'm actually taking more fashion risks. I'm taking, more chances. I'm exploring.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's just because it reaches a point where you have the confidence to just try something new. And you also realise that, okay, you maybe put something on, it maybe didn't exactly work out the way you expected, but do you know what? That's okay. Everything you wear doesn't have to be perfect.
I think that's good.
And everybody doesn't have to like what you wear either. As long as you love it and you feel amazing in it, then that's the only thing that should matter.
Well,
There's something good about getting older, which is not giving a hoot, actually.
That's it. You really don't. And because you begin to like yourself, you finally know yourself and you begin to like yourself and you realise other people maybe don't like you. But rather than being cross, you feel a bit sorry for them because you think, I'm actually great. And it's a shame that you don't like me because I'm brilliant.
Yes.
Well, I think too that sort of I used to teach a lot of classes and I used to say to women particularly, when you get up in the morning, you're perfect. You have been made perfect. You're unique. So always look in the mirror and say, I love you. Because if you don't love
Do you do that?
Yes, every morning. Yes, I do.
brilliant.
I do. I love myself now. At times in my life, I was ghastly.
That brings me to the lionesses. I'm going to bring them in. 'cause
Bring the lionesses in, yeah.
I must do. The men, there was a nice comment on social media. The men for 50 years have been saying, it's coming home, it's coming home. It hasn't come home. The women said, okay, I'll just go and get it now, you know, and they bring it home. And there's a sense in which they are inspiring because they're young women, admittedly, but they've got that confidence and you can see that continuing. And I think as you grow older, if you have confidence, it grows, actually. Yes, it does. And there's a self-acceptance too.
There
you
is.
accept yourself and what you
Flaws
can do
and
and what
all.
you can't do.
Flaws and all.
Flaws and all. Warts and all. Yes.
And I
As
think,
well, when
yes.
it comes to confidence, you know, we've been taught for so long that, you know, oh, who does she think she is? She thinks she's this, she thinks she's that. And we were told to dim our light. We were told, you know, don't think too much of yourself, you know.
Don't be
get
too much.
Don't be too much. Don't be too vain. Don't be too much this. Don't be too much that. Whereas now, I think, especially as I've gotten older, I realise it's not that you're vain. It's not that you love yourself. It's just you're comfortable in your own skin. And I think
Yes.
people tend to have two reactions to that. They either respond incredibly positively because they can see you're just completely yourself. You're just relaxed. You're at peace with yourself and you love yourself. And then I think those that have struggled with that, when they see that reflected in somebody else, it triggers them, which is why
how they feel about
That's
themselves.
So
Yes.
true. And I think, you know,
They
what
feel
you were
lesser.
saying, and I think, you
Yeah.
know,
They
what
feel
you were
lesser.
saying, about fashion. I've always loved clothes and going out, but when my husband died, I was told very blatantly all the terrible things that would be in my future without him. And as I say, he died in my arms, and my husband just loved me in fashion. So I decided that from there on in, I would wear a thing maybe twice and give it away.
Wow.
Now, in saying that, don't get excited. This dress I have on was £1.
It's beautiful.
It is, it's lovely.
So all of my things, but I want for him to go out and be the best that I can.
How long were you married, Patience?
41 years.
41
Yes.
years.
I mean, we had a very, very exceptional marriage. It was, I remember thinking, you know, the sort of butterflies you get when you're really young.
Yeah.
You're going out with someone, you can't wait to see them.
Yeah.
Well, that never left.
Oh, Patience. That's
I mean,
lovely.
it was ridiculous. The day he died, I mean, we must have kissed about 30 times the day he died.
Mm-hmm.
So I adored him.
And he adored you.
Yes, so I'm going forward with his blessing and things that I do. And
what's
I really
life like
enjoy-
without him now?
Pardon?
What's life like without him?
Well,
Different.
This is strange. No, I would say that for the past 3 years, he couldn't walk, he couldn't leave the house. Right. So at that, my husband was quite a controlling person. I don't mean that in a nasty way,
Yeah.
but he was obsessed with time. I mean, if you
Right.
weren't there, he said, you know, there's trouble. So I think from then, I just have him with me. He's not with me all
He's with
the
you,
time,
yeah.
but he's with me.
He's with you in spirit.
You know, I'll drive along and I'll say, I need a parking place. I mean, there it is. That happened today. A guy moved out and I move in. And I have a little memory garden for him. Not doing very well, but I love the fact he's there, and that's what I want to do. I
love
want
that.
to give love.
That's lovely. That is lovely, Patience. What a lovely message. And we'll have the final word for you, Jane. Will you ever get old?
Oh, I hope not. I think inside I'm still about 16, actually.
Same,
To
same,
be perfectly honest.
same.
Don't you think so?
Oh, see it? Yeah. Yeah.
And I was at an Oasis tribute gig recently, and I was
I was at
thinking
an
about,
Oasis tribute
Yes,
gig.
there we are.
Okay, yes.
Live forever, and
Yeah.
yes, you know, I was still as enthusiastic. I still like rock music. I still like a lot of the things I liked when I was young. I still like chocolate.
And long, girls, long may it last.
Local Women Magazine presents Local Women podcast, the show for things that matter. Keeping an Eye on It podcast from Local Women Magazine is brought to you by Cathedral Eye Clinic, Northern Ireland's leading eye specialist.
Don't just picture a new look. Step right into it at Glen Hill, Stockman's Way. Explore Belfast's biggest media wall displays with bespoke designs from Mavonic and Alir, plus stunning multi-fuel stoves and fireplaces. Find your modern way of living only at Glen Hill, Stockman's Way, Belfast.
Transform your home with style and grace. At Decora Blinds Belfast, we offer elegant, made-to-measure blinds, blending beauty with functionality. From vibrant Alumatech aluminium Venetians to stunning shutter blinds, each available in a range of colours and slot widths. Wood or PVC Venetians, you'll hardly know the difference. Add tapes for that extra touch of luxury. Discover timeless design. Discover Decora Blinds Belfast.
Looking to upgrade your bathroom? At M1 Bathrooms Belfast, we've got everything under one roof, from stylish bathroom suites to easy-to-fit PVC panels in marble, stone, tile, and even 3D metallic effects. Full bathroom renovations completed in just 1 week. Visit our 4,000 square foot showroom off Kennedy Way behind Asda and discover top quality products to suit every style and every budget. That's M1 Bathrooms, your one-stop bathroom shop in Belfast. Call 02890 300 555. Open 6 days a week. M1 Bathrooms. Customer service from start to finish.
Keeping an Eye on It podcast from Local Women Magazine is brought to you by Cathedral Eye Clinic, Northern Ireland's leading eye specialist.
Okay, girls. So our next topic is something that I think a lot of people are going to relate to, and it's about caring. So a lot of people, obviously, who follow this podcast and me are mums. So obviously we have children, but I'm not talking about that kind of caring. I'm talking about the caring for the aunties and the mummies and the dads and the mother-in-laws and maybe the sisters who, you know, that kind of caring, the family caring that quite often falls to women who don't have children and maybe aren't married. Now, it's quite interesting. I'm now with 3 girls here and none of you have kids.
That's
which
true.
is interesting because usually it's all full of mummies. So caring has fallen to a lot of you ladies here. Isn't that right, Jane? I mean, you have had quite a lot of caring responsibilities.
Yes, it is. When my mummy got dementia, which was awful because she'd been a very brilliant woman, writer and journalist and so on, worked for Reuters in Jerusalem, one thing and another. It fell to me to look after her and move home. My sister had a family. She also had a difficult marriage. So fair enough, she had a lot on her plate. But it fell to me, and I didn't mind. My mother was one of the great loves of my life. We were very close. We were friends, actually. But it was tough. Particularly it's tough when somebody gets dementia because it's the long goodbye, essentially, and they're retreating from you. And there were times when she didn't recognise me because she'd gone back in time and she thought I should be young, I should be 10, and I was 30, you know. So that was very hard.
Also a special time for you to spend with your mum.
Yes, it was, actually. And we used to, eventually she did go into residential care, but every Tuesday we would have lunch together. We'd have fish and chips and Chardonnay and listen to Frank Sinatra and cuddle up on the sofa. Yeah. And those are some of my happiest memories, actually.
So, Patience, you mentioned there about caring for your husband, your late husband.
Yes, well, I was put in a position where I never had children. I never had nappies. In fact, I was so wimpish that if there was a child in this room that had a dirty nappy, I probably would leave.
And quite right, you are too.
Yeah, but I had to come to terms with my husband being a baby, full-time nappies, and at the very beginning, it was awful. That's the only thing I can say. Shocking and awful.
The dynamic changed of your relationship.
Yeah.
No, actually it didn't, because I told him I loved him. And I just wanted to make his life as happy as I could. It was very hard, but I did little things. And we used to have sleepovers. He had a hospital bed in the downstairs room, and I would go and get in beside him and watch television with him. And he he was very, very with it. I was thinking of Jane, and there were times, Jane, when I thought, I wonder, would it be better if Ivor didn't know what was going on? His brain was amazing, and I take that back.
Yes.
I take it back 1,000 times, because he died in my arms and he knew exactly what was happening. I talked everything out with him, what I was going to do. Instead of having a funeral, we had about 10 blessings in our marriage.
Lovely.
And all these different blessings. So it was a blessing. And the service was like we'd had right from our wedding, Love Divine and Oh Perfect Love. So I really, honestly, I would say to anybody, if I can look after my husband at my size at home, anybody can. I mean, I'm very small, and I am so glad. He didn't want to go to hospital. He refused.
And you kept him with you?
He had a broken hip and had to be in hospital. And when I asked to see the doctor, they said, oh, well, he can't come out. He's got an ulcer on his foot. So we cannot sign him out. So I asked them to see the carers. And this lady was very nice. And she said, Patience, I do understand, but we can't start a package till he's signed out. I said, really? And she said, there's 12 to 14 waiting lists, weeks waiting list. But in the end, I had to use a method that I really feel shouldn't have had to have been used. I got him home.
Yeah.
And but like you were saying about Jane and her mum, I adored my mum and I adored my husband. And the last 3 years of being with him all the time was really very lucky. We were very, very blessed.
Yes.
And I think that's the way to look at life.
A privilege, yeah. That it was a privilege.
For me, it was a privilege.
A privilege that you got to care for them.
I remember the day he died. I'm a person, I'm never sick. I've only been sick about once in my life when I was very young. I can feel sick, but I can't be sick. And I said to him, you're a good, I can deal with everything else and me, but don't be sick. Please don't be sick. And the last day that he was alive, he was sick. And I said, well, we've done it all now.
That's it. You've done everything. You've done everything. Moving now to Louise. Now, this is something that you know about because you obviously gave up work to care for your mummy.
I did, but at the moment, it's actually, I wish I could have the same feelings that everybody else around the table does, but it'll be a year since we lost Mum next week, and those emotions are still, for me, very, very raw. Because, there is that role reversal where you become the parent in many ways, and you don't realise it as the time goes on, because I looked after my mum for well over a decade, and you start off where you maybe only have to do small things, and as the situation gets more complicated there, in case of my mum, she had a lot of chronic conditions, which very much like me, very strong, very stubborn, total it girl, loved being out and about, and we were told in 2015 she'd have a year to live, and she lasted right through to about this time last year, and lived life to the full. It was only in those last couple of months where she ended up, she was in bed and she wasn't mobile anymore, but still giving all the banter and the crack from the bed, and chatting away to me and chatting away. I was lucky enough, I did have a care package, and we had an incredible group of carers that were my eyes and ears whenever I wasn't there. But in saying that, there were so many things in terms of support that I don't think people realise.
That's what I was going to say. What about you? Yes. Who was there to support you?
I was kind of unlucky, unlucky in the sense that I am an only child. So, we do talk a lot about, the caring role falling upon women primarily. In my case, it fell upon me because I was the only one there.
There was nobody else.
But in saying that, my wee mum was my best friend. My dad passed away very suddenly when I was 14 and a half. So whilst I did have great aunts and uncles, they also have, advanced ages, some of them have passed away. I don't have much family left, so Mum and I were incredibly
You were the
close.
family.
You
You
know,
were the
She
family.
was my best friend.
Yeah.
When we talk about me and my fashion and my clothes, as soon as I would buy something, I'd be straight on the phone and go, guess what I just bought, Mum, and I would explain, she'd go, oh, you need to bring it over, I need to see it, I want to see it on you straight away. Like even in those last couple of weeks whenever she was in hospital, I rocked up every day in a fabulous outfit because that's who I was, and I knew if I didn't do that, Mum would get worried about me. She'd be like, why is my Louise not the way she normally?
Yes.
So I never wanted her to worry about me and be concerned about how I was.
Yeah.
But equally, and it really touched me, the nurses in the ward saying to me that whenever I would leave, Mum would be like, oh, did you see my Louise today? Did you see what she had on? Doesn't she look amazing? And they said, you have no idea how proud she is of you, Louise, how much she talks about you when you're not here. And I think, that for me, because I had that strong bond for my mum, when it came to caring, it wasn't even a question in my mind. I made those sacrifices, yes, but I made them willingly. And I made them happily, and if I had that time to do over again, I wouldn't do anything any differently. And that's not to say that it didn't come without its toll and it didn't come without its challenges, because, even at the moment, I'm kind of going through therapy to kind of deal with the burnout and the trauma of a lot of the things and issues that we had to deal with. But in saying that, I got to be able to have my mum with me for, nearly 10 years longer than she was supposed to be here for.
Yes.
And to have that time with her, to be out at Grand Central having fish and chips right up to the last couple of months of her life, those are memories that I will always cherish, and I'm very thankful that I had that time. And yes, it took its toll on me, and yes, I had to make those sacrifices, but I would do it again.
Do you think there should be more support for people in caring roles?
Yes.
I think I do a lot of advocacy and a lot of lobbying work with Carers NI. I also do stuff with Carers Support Network within the Belfast Trust and the Carers Network. And that is something that we really kind of, are actively advocating and lobbying for, because there are so many individuals that don't even identify themselves as carers.
No.
Because those caring roles and those caring responsibilities are just something that they take up. And a lot of the time, people will do it willingly, and they don't necessarily realise the toll that it's taking on them until they do reach that burnout level.
You're
That's
absolutely
very true.
right. I found, the reason Mummy went into care was because I had a boyfriend, I was young, and, she couldn't bear to be alone for 10 minutes at a time because she would be anxious. She wouldn't remember that I was coming back, so it was very difficult. But in terms of support for carers, I think financially it's crucial that carers get more than they currently get. It's a tiny amount.
Yeah.
And when you think carers actually save the government
they do.
millions and millions.
They save 5.8 billion. Or was it 8.3?
Yes, I'm not surprised.
8.3 billion per year.
No,
One
not
of
surprised at all.
A few of the things that we are really advocating for, first of all, in terms of the carers allowance, a lot of people don't realise this, but a lot of individuals who are caring for maybe their partners, they are at that sort of pension age. If you are receiving old age pension, you are not eligible to also have a carers allowance.
Which is
So you automatically lose that. If you work and you make a certain amount of money beyond that threshold, you can no longer claim carers
Yes, that's
allowance.
That's wrong.
Oh,
That's wrong.
absolutely.
That's wrong.
So, I just wish that if I could give you anything, when I think about my husband, I want him to be proud of me. And when people, you meet widows and they start to cry and you can't mention their husband's name and all, I was determined that from there onwards, I would be happy with him. And what would your mum want for you? Your mum adored you, so she would want your happiness. So that is how I looked at it with Ivor. I am happy because he wants me to be happy.
That's how we celebrate their memory, is living for them. And I think that's a really, really important thing.
Yes.
But, even sort of to draw back to the caring side of things, I think another thing which a lot of times is forgotten is individuals that want to try and have that work-life balance where they want to be able to maintain that caring role, but also have the flexibility of being able to work. So that's something we've also been lobbying for in terms of being able to make sure that there is statutory leave for carers so that they actually are able to then have that time. Also as well, when you consider the practicalities of the caring role, there's also the need for your own personal self-care and time to decompress yourself. So again, it's important for carers to be able to have that and have availability.
You need a break sometimes. I mean, you do definitely, because it's the emotional toll is quite high. I think
absolutely
burnout.
As well, there's a judgment around that, because I certainly know with myself, because obviously, as you said, you know, Louise, Vance, girl about town. So, you know, people would see that and go, oh, she's out, she's doing this, she's doing that. So what really is she doing in terms of that caring role? But, you know, they didn't see me.
Everything.
Yeah. And
you were doing everything.
Yes.
And they don't see, you know, like my mum at one point, she had to wear a non-invasive ventilator through the night to help her with her sleep apnea and her carbon dioxide retention. And I would have maybe been up 6, 7, 8 times through the night to adjust that mask and put that back on. And then you're waking up again first thing in the morning, you're getting into your carer responsibilities, and then you're trying to live your own life as well. And that's the invisibility, that's the side of caring that people don't see.
Yeah, I think if
tough.
I'd been like you and if I'd been working age, I mean, it would have been really impossible. That's how I think about it. And, you know, it's... the carers are so good, and my husband was one like time, you know, where are they? I said, you will have to learn that they come when they can come.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether they ever really got to grips with that, but I do think that carers, what they're paid is ridiculous.
Oh,
I mean,
it's
it's
far too low.
absolutely.
They're paid minimum. I mean,
And you have
most
to
carers are paid minimum wage, you know, like most professional carers.
And also people working in residential
They're
care.
paid, you know, and they're so good. I mean, it's such, you
so
know,
devoted.
They are absolutely devoted. Ladies, thank you so much for sharing what are very personal stories. And I think anybody listening to this, there's so many people who listen to this who will be exactly the same, who are carers. And all we can say is that we're thinking about them right
And
now.
I would
Good luck.
I would
Yes.
just like to finish by saying treasure the time
That's
you have with that person.
Yes.
It's
Thank you,
it's
Patience.
a gift.
Local Women Magazine presents Local Women Podcast, the show for things that matter. Keeping an Eye on It podcast from Local Women Magazine is brought to you by Cathedral Eye Clinic, Northern Ireland's leading eye specialist.
Looking to upgrade your bathroom? At M1 Bathrooms Belfast, we've got everything under one roof, from stylish bathroom suites to easy-to-fit PVC panels in marble, stone, tile, and even 3D metallic effects. Full bathroom renovations completed in just 1 week. Visit our 4,000 square foot showroom off Kennedy Way behind Asda and discover top quality products to suit every style and every budget. That's M1 Bathrooms, your one-stop bathroom shop in Belfast. Call 02890 300 555. Open 6 days a week. M1 Bathrooms. Customer service from start to finish.
Make your living room the heart of your home with Glen Hill. From media walls to fireplaces, stoves to electric fires, we blend traditional charm with contemporary style. Visit Glen Hill, Stockman's Way, Belfast, or glenhill.co.uk. Glen Hill, affordable quality for over 40 years.
Transform your home with style and grace. At Decora Blinds Belfast, we offer elegant, made-to-measure blinds, blending beauty with functionality. From vibrant Alumatech aluminium Venetians to stunning shutter blinds, each available in a range of colours and slot widths. Wood or PVC Venetians, you'll hardly know the difference. Add tapes for that extra touch of luxury. Discover timeless design. Discover Decora Blinds Belfast.
Keeping an Eye on It podcast from Local Women Magazine is brought to you by Cathedral Eye Clinic, Northern Ireland's leading eye specialist.
Right, ladies, girls, I want to talk to you about my favourite word, Schadenfreude. Isn't that, what a great word that.
Schadenfreude, German, yes, it is.
I love it. And obviously it's just, you know, I'm such an awful person. Taking pleasure in the misfortunes of others. Would that be correct, Jane?
That would be correct. And if you think about it, it goes from the banana skin upwards, doesn't
Love it.
it, really?
Oh, Jane, I love
we,
it.
We laugh when somebody falls over. We shouldn't, but there's a
Why do we?
strange human reaction. I don't know, because it seems absurd.
Yeah.
Because somebody, I don't mean if somebody hurts themselves badly, I'm
No,
not talking
no.
about that. But if it's a pratfall, you know, because they look silly. And there's something ridiculous about it, and it just tickles the funny bone.
But why do we like it so much? I mean, in the last few weeks, there's been the whole kiss cam scandal, you know.
Yes, at the Coldplay gig.
At the Coldplay gig, you know, the man getting caught on cheating on his wife and she was cheating on her husband. We loved it.
Oh, we absolutely loved
honestly,
it.
I was so invested. I don't know these people. And I'm not actually a horrible person. I was like rubbing my hands with glee.
He shouldn't have got away with it. That's why I think. Naughty man.
Patience, are you nicer than me? Are you a nicer person? Like you said that you didn't.
I think one of the things I am is very selfish. And I think that my husband sat there 3 years with a bevel mirror in front of him and he could tell exactly what was going on outside. I have no interest. That's terrible. I have no interest in really...
In gossip and scandal?
Oh, not at all. I wouldn't have, if you hadn't said, I wouldn't have even known about it. I mean, I don't... no, I would say no. I know what Jane means about it. It is humorous.
Yeah.
I mean, we're laughing at humour. Somebody falls, trips, what have you. That's all right. But I probably wouldn't notice that they did.
I love that about you, Patience. That's what I love about Patience. Louise, what do you think? Do you revel in the glory of other people's misfortunes?
If I'm totally honest, no, but that doesn't mean
It's
that
just
I
you and me,
don't-
Jane.
Yes,
it
it's
doesn't
just
mean I
us,
don't
isn't
have
it?
interest in it, though. And, I think that if you think about human nature in general, we are very voyeuristic.
We are.
And it used to be back in the day, you'd be gossiping about what such and such did down the lane. Now, because of the onset of global, social media, nothing is, out of
Private.
bounds, nothing's private anymore. And... I think
true.
even if we don't know the people, there is that, interest.
It's interesting,
in,
isn't it?
People just kind of
It
wanting
is.
to know how it's going to unfold. And I think some people do it just from a basic kind of voyeuristic mentality of just, it's almost like reality TV. It's like, watching a soap drama. But then I think there is also the nasty side of it where there's people that actually actively revel in it and enjoy seeing somebody's downfall regardless of what that aspect of the voyeurism is.
I think she's talking about us.
Yes, I think so. When it comes to celebs, celebrity culture,
It really is
it's
celebs.
different in a way because they seem to have it all. They've
do.
got money, they've got yachts, they've got private jets, they can do what they want when they want. They live the life of spoiled children sometimes. And so then if you see a celeb have some minor downfall, then yes, there is a bit of schadenfreude because you think, well, they've got it all most of the time, but, they maybe deserve a bit of a kickback.
I think, though, that, my feelings on it is you never know. You can do a little bit about what people say about you. If you're in the room and you hear it, you can confront them. But you can do nothing about what people think.
Because it's none of your, and ultimately it's none of your business.
No, and I just think that celebs or not, they still have the feelings that we have. And I think the one I did come across was when somebody was burgled. And a year, 2 years ago, I think it was a footballer and his wife and children, and this chap got into the house.
Yes,
and
there was quite a spate of those
yes,
around
and
Manchester.
I really did feel for them.
No, I don't like that.
Oh,
no.
we're not
I
talking about
don't
that
like
sort
it.
of level.
I think it's more people who have been caught cheating.
Yes.
I do love that.
Yes, I like that.
I like that.
Or
Why do
maybe-
you like it?
I like it because I think they shouldn't get away with it.
Well, I
really,
also think,
to be perfectly honest.
yeah, I also think, mess about and then find out, so
Yes, exactly.
here come those consequences.
Yes, actions do have consequences.
Yeah,
And that
karma.
man certainly found them, yes.
There is something beautiful about watching karma played out in its full glory. Yeah. It is quite nice, isn't
I
it?
think in these days as well, with social media, and everybody's got a camera, everyone's got
Yeah.
a phone,
Yeah.
so there is that aspect of, no matter who you are, whether you're a public figure or just, like how many times do we see videos going viral on TikTok of totally normal people, who don't have a profile or they're not known, but, people are still, caught in a taxi or caught whatever.
I suppose
all that stuff.
there's another thing. I think when you feel somebody has undeserved glory, in a
Yes.
sense, and
Yes.
they receive a bit of a kickback, that seems like fate doing the right thing for once, basically.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, I perhaps shouldn't name anybody, but I'm thinking of certain political journalists who seem to have a certain bias. And I've tweeted about this or reposted tweets saying so-and-so should lose her job and let's bring on somebody else.
I know what she's talking about. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring on Victoria Derbyshire, for example, to this programme. And you think, yes, that would be good, because the advancement of this particular individual, or quite a few individuals now, seems undeserved, and that goes against the grain. So there's an element of justifying things, the right coming out on top in the end.
Yes, and then
there's a kind of different schadenfreude.
There is an element, of course, in Northern Ireland of sort of tall poppy syndrome. You know, we don't really like people getting a bit too big for their boots, do we?
Yeah, that is true.
No,
we don't. We don't. You know,
I remember there was a saying that one of my editors said to me, and I hadn't heard it before. I don't know if you know it, and it is an Northern Irish thing. Don't be throwing flowers at yourself.
Oh, very good. I like that.
Yeah.
Yes,
well,
that's quite good,
I
isn't
would,
it? Yes.
I would throw flowers at myself.
I would definitely.
Roses.
I think I would throw flowers. You definitely, Patience, would throw flowers. I think you would like sprinkle petals and then walk through them.
As well.
Yeah, as well. And rightly so.
Yeah,
rightly so.
Oh, that's very sweet.
I think so.
I mean, I do think, and I tell you what it is where I'm at. If I think badly of anybody, once I have bad thoughts, it's coming into me. It's making me unhappy.
That's it. It does give you a bad karma, negative energy.
I just love everybody. And, you know, I just think, well, as I've said, I would do what my husband would like me to do. So people might like, that's their decision. But I like them. And I think that loving things, loving yourself, you can't love somebody else if you don't love you. So
I think we all need to be a
That's
bit
true.
more patient.
Oh, yes,
We do, except that we now see inside the lives of celebrities and well-known people in the royal family. I mean, in a sense, they unleashed the Pandora's box when I think it was in the 60s. The Queen did the documentary.
Remember the documentary, yes.
About the family.
Yes.
And that was the beginning of the end of privacy, and to a certain extent, the beginning of the end of unquestioned privilege.
Yes.
I think Walter Bagehot, the historian, said you remove the magic, the mystique.
Yes.
And they certainly did. They ripped it away.
Oh, I agree.
You see
totally
it with
that.
celebrities. So, you know, there are some celebrities in particular that have very actively chosen to keep their private life private. You know,
That's
they'll
true.
go out,
Yes.
they'll do, you know, the media call to promote the movie. But then other than that, you know, they're not caught, you know, being papped out and about, doing this, doing that.
Well, that's
they make
good.
a very, very clear distinction. And I think whenever you do that, and you do that from day one, I think that helps to establish a boundary of, you know,
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
it's whenever people can see that you're using your private life to promote yourself or sell what you do
Publicly,
I think,
yes.
I think whenever
And then
that
pleading,
line is
and then
crossed,
pleading privacy, and going, "Don't look at me, look at me, but don't look at me, look at me, and don't look at me." We get a lot of that.
The one
You
celebrity
can't
who's a
pull
friend
back
of
from
mine is called Keith Lennon. And he
Are you friendly with Keith Lemon?
Yeah, he used to be. He is the sweetest,
Yeah, he's a
loveliest guy.
Yeah.
And his family, you don't hear about them or what they do at all. I mean, he's so estranged from what he used to do.
Yes.
And I agree both with Jane and Louise, but I just, from my own personal, as I say it again, I'm too selfish.
Well, you know what, ladies? We have come to the end of another podcast. Thank you very much for joining me here on this podcast.
No problem.
Jane Hardy, Patience Bradley, who's talking to the dog, and the amazing Louise Vance.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to Cathedral Eye Clinic for sponsoring us. And thanks very much to United Wines for supplying us with a little afternoon tipple.
Lovely.
Cheers. And
Cheers.
have a good day, everybody.
Local Women Magazine presents Local Women Podcast, the show for things that matter. Keeping an Eye on It podcast from Local Women Magazine is brought to you by Cathedral Eye Clinic, Northern Ireland's leading eye specialist.